So the Sixers offseason continues. Still no extension for Quentin Grimes, but things could get a little interesting soon. Would a sign and trade be at play? We'll talk about what that could look like. Also, the Clippers make another signing today and add to the what could have been 5 years ago team, but that just helped the Sixers. They might have struck gold in the future. We'll talk about that. Also, one Sixer who will not be reuniting with the team this summer, but may come back to the Eastern Conference. And Tyrese Maxey sends a message back to the fans about all the noise. We'll talk about it all and more, but welcome into Philly Take with RB. Do me a favor, make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any videos or live streams. Hit the thumbs up if you do enjoy this video. And we started off with an update from Shams yesterday. The Lakers waive former Sixers guard Shake Milton. Just a heads up, though, this is not the Sixer that I'm talking about in terms of a potential reunion. Who knows what the future holds for Shake Milton? I just think it's pretty funny because Sixer fans would probably say, hey, bring this guy back, right? Let's have a team full of 15 guards. I don't know. But shout out to Shake Milton, still trying to find his way, just never was really able to capitalize on that little bit of momentum he had early in his career. But let's talk about another guard pertaining to the Philadelphia 76ers, and that is Quentin Grimes. I put this tweet out yesterday, and I said, when is Quentin Grimes going to resign? And a ton of people were giving their thoughts. People are saying, you're crazy, he's not coming back anymore. People are saying, yeah, he'll be back tomorrow. People are saying in October. So what is really going on with Quentin Grimes? We've talked about it a lot. We really have. Here's Quentin Grimes, by the way. He's making TikToks now, which kind of fits the new Sixers culture. A lot of the guys on TikTok. You think Quentin Grimes is really stressing out right now? I feel like this guy's having a pretty good time, enjoying himself on vacation. He's not really involved in all these discussions. It is obviously his agent. And as we have referenced before, Quentin Grimes is in a very sticky situation, and he's not the only guy. If we go over and we look at the free agents right now, specifically the RFAs, the restricted free agents who are coming off rookie contracts, who pretty much signed qualifying offers for 1 year and want to be paid in terms of long-term extensions, right? They want 4-year extensions, and their teams simply are not giving them out right now. So why? What is going on? Well, usually in a normal free agency year, they go and they hit free agency and, a couple teams throw out offers. Hey, we'll sign this guy to, $25 million a year. And then the original team having the RFA rights comes back and says, well, we will match that. We get to keep our guy, et cetera, et cetera. However, this year, no teams have cap space. So the teams are playing hardball. The players and the agents are going, yo, we want our money, right? The top 4 on this list are really the main talk right now. Josh Giddey, Jonathan Kuminga, Quentin Grimes, and Cam Thomas, all pretty solid players. Like Josh Giddey had a really good year, right? Grimes had a great second half of the year. Cam Thomas, pretty good player. And Kuminga's still trying to get paid. So when you look at all these guys, right, no teams out in the field are coming on saying, hey, we'll give this guy $20 million a year. We'll force you to match him. Why? Because, again, no teams have cap space. So you think about it from a Grimes perspective, right? His agent saying, we want our money. Are they willing to roll the dice and say, we'll play on the 1-year qualifying offer at $8.7 million and try to hit free agency next year when we're an unrestricted free agent? Then you look at it from the team's perspective. They're saying, why would we pay you $25 million a year, 20, maybe even 18, when we can pay you 12 to 14 million a year, right? And you either accept that because it's higher than the current qualifying offer value, or you play on a 1-year deal and try to roll the dice and, hit free agency next summer. Now, again, where that starts to get interesting is, do you really want to piss off the player? Like, what if he comes into the season on a 1-year deal and he's like, well, I'm just playing for free agency next year. I don't really care about the team winning, etc. So you have to find that balance. But as you can see right now, none of these teams are budging, and I don't really blame them. If you can get Grimes at $12 million a year, why try to pay him at 20? So that's where things stand with this whole situation. Do you think Grimes is coming back? Yes or no? The other potential situation that Brian Toporek wrote about on Liberty Ballers over the weekend was a sign and trade. He says if Grimes wants a starting salary higher than $16 million on his new deal, which he obviously does, he either needs to find a team with enough cap space to sign him, or get the Sixers to enter into a sign and trade. Now, we talked about this last week. Tony Jones said that the Sixers splash cold water on potential sign and trade scenarios. But as Brian says here, even if the Sixers change their mind, base year compensation rules could complicate a sign and trade. Grimes will only count as 50% of his new salary in terms of outgoing. So the Sixers, because of the CBA rules and where they're at, would not be allowed to take back a player earning $16+ million. It might be difficult to construct a framework satisfying the league's salary matching rules. Teams could take Grimes into a trade exception to help mitigate those matching concerns. The Hawks did that with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and the Jazz, Celtics, Nuggets, and Heat are the only 4 teams with the trade exceptions above $16 million. So these 4 teams could be teams in the mix for a Quentin Grimes sign and trade, but because of the matching, because of the players involved, and really because no teams have cap space or really want it right now, things are getting tricky. And I think at some point, these guys are just going to have to say, I'll sign, and then one after the other will come, or they all just hold out, or they all just play on one-year deals and hope and pray that they have a great season and roll the dice next year and don't get hurt. But I think that's very tricky if you're an agent. Do you want to take 1 year at $8.7 million, or would you take 4 years at $60 million, right? So it's a tough thing to navigate, but we'll see how it plays out with Quentin Grimes. What do you think the Sixers should do? Like I said, I like Grimes a lot, but at the end of the day, you can't pay this guy $20 million a year because you look at the salaries and how teams are building. It's just probably not going to be worth it, especially when you draft VJ Edgecombe. Let's talk about the other team in the Western Conference who made a move today, and that is the LA Clippers. They have signed all-star Chris Paul, who is, 40 years old? So he is going back to LA, where obviously he played for a while, 21st NBA season. I like CP3. I'm a fan of CP3. I wish he would get a ring, but I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be with the LA Clippers. This is what the Clippers have done to their rotation. They remind me a lot of the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. While every team is looking to get younger and follow the new trends and get more athletic, the Clippers said, nope. We're going to get every veteran and every what could have been player and put them on the same roster. Bradley Beal was bought out by the Suns. They sign him. Kawhi, James Harden. They bring John Collins over. Ivica Zubac. They sign Brook Lopez. So a very interesting strategy for the LA Clippers. When I look at this team, I think they're a solid 5 seed, and James Harden will probably have a really good regular season, and then he'll disappear in the playoffs. Kawhi Leonard will probably have a great regular season. He'll probably get injured. Bradley Beal, who knows what you have with him at this point. It's just a wonky fit. But nonetheless, I don't really care about this team's success. What I care about is that this could really help the 76ers out. When we think about the Sixers' future draft capital, and we know, right, with the Embiid, Paul George timelines, if things kind of blow up, 2028 is really the year to look at, right? The Sixers have their own pick in the first round, and they also have the Clippers unprotected from the James Harden trade. So based on what the Clippers are doing now, I actually think it really, really helps the Sixers, because if the Clippers go into the playoffs and implode again 1 or 2 more times, which I expect them to do, and disappear in the bright lights, then in 2028, they might end up having to blow it up, start over, and just pretty much implode and get rid of everybody. And they might be one of the worst teams in the NBA. And that will help the Sixers, because eventually that draft pick is going to be of high value in that 2028 draft. Obviously, they have to go through the lottery and get lucky and all that. But things are trending in the direction of the Sixers maybe having 2 really good first-round picks in 2028. And that could be very valuable for this team. So I'm happy that the Clippers are still trying to patch this thing together and make it work. And we'll see what happens there. Speaking of the Clippers, another player who was on the Clippers last year, Ben Simmons, is drawing interest from Boston, Phoenix, New York, and Sacramento. And New York's really apparently been engaging in discussion. I mean, Ben Simmons going back to New York would be hilarious. Look, I'm not here to pick on him anymore. I'm just saying he's not going to be able to handle that. Or Boston, right? And when you think about this overall, CP3 going back to the Clippers, Dame going back to the Blazers, people have proposed Ben Simmons back to the Sixers. No, keep him away. Absolutely not. What do you think about Ben Simmons going back to the Eastern Conference? Look, send him to New York. I think he will hurt that team. I'm just being honest. No offense against him, but He's still not 30 years old yet. I said he'd be out of the league by 30, and things seem to be kind of trending there. So we'll see how that goes. Lastly, we will talk about a couple Sixers updates. Tyrese Maxey responds to the fans, pretty much the idiotic fans. I mean, I'll put it simply, the people that are like, trade Maxey, this and that, we don't need him. Stupid. Ridiculous. Tyrese Maxey has worked his butt off since the day he got here. He's improved year over year. Last year was an outlier year. He was hurt. Everybody was hurt. And I still think that in due time, this guy can continue to get better, emerge, be that lead guard, be whatever you need, just a combo guard, play him at the 2. I don't care. He is going to be a positive for your team. He's gotten better on the defensive end. His work ethic is unmatched. And to all the people talking crazy on Twitter, he says, y'all are talking your mess on this app this summer. Understood. I like it. Light a fire under him. See, he's not getting mad and, getting in his head. He's like, all right, I hear you guys. I'm going to get better. I'm going to work and do my thing. Paul George was seen at Summer League multiple times before his arthroscopic knee surgery. Mark Stein said that it was surprising. How surprising was it? I saw him on multiple occasions during my recent Summer League trip to Sin City before the Sixers announced last Monday that George underwent that procedure. So, yeah, it is very surprising. He was at Summer League. He looked like he was enjoying himself, and then we get a random update. Oh, yeah, he had a knee surgery. It's very annoying. So we'll see what happens with Paul George. And lastly, Daryl Morey talked about Joel Embiid. Is there something tangible you can point to saying this is why the year will be different with Embiid's knee problems? Quote, it's all stuff only internally that we're privy to, what we're hearing from Dr. Glashow, what we're hearing from the early returns on his rehab that he's working on very hard. I think it's going to be hard to have anything tangible for the fans until you see him out there in training camp, in early preseason games, etc. So you can look at this as annoying as, man, Daryl Morey's still not committing to, really anything good until we see it. But on the other hand, I mean, you're throwing these words out there, training camp, preseason games, so hopefully we'll see Embiid in that time period. Who knows if we'll see Paul George in that time period because now he's injured. I mean, really the health and status of Embiid and Paul George will determine how this season will go. If those guys are on the floor, yeah, this team can be really good, but who knows? Who knows? So that's where we're at. Give me all your thoughts on the Sixers and more. What do you think they should do with Quentin Grimes? Give me all your thoughts down below. As always, appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.